My wife invited her lover into our house, but instead of a secret rendezvous, it turned into a violent collision of truth. I never thought I'd be the kind of man to tell a story like this. 4 years, I was proud of the life I had built. One I thought was rooted in loyalty, love, and trust. Emily, my wife, had been by my side for more than a decade. We met back in college, fell fast for each other, and married young. Together, we bought our first place, filled it with late-night conversations, and built dreams of children and a future. To anyone on the outside, we looked solid, almost unshakable. But betrayal doesn't arrive with warning signs. It seeps in quietly, disguised as routine, hidden behind practiced smiles. And when the mask slipped, when I realized Emily had opened the door of our home to another man, it nearly destroyed me. What followed was the most brutal confrontation of my life. The warning signs started small. She worked later. Her phone never left her hand. She laughed at messages I never saw. When I asked, she brushed it off, teasing me for being suspicious. I wanted to believe her because the lie was easier to live with than the thought that my marriage was collapsing. One evening, while she was showering, her phone lit up on the nightstand. I knew I shouldn't look. But something inside me snapped, and I reached for it. A message flashed across the screen, from someone saved only as D. These weren't casual exchanges. They were raw, intimate words, the kind of affection I hadn't heard from her in years. My chest tightened as I scrolled. They weren't just flirting. They were making plans. Plans that involved him coming to my house, the one I worked myself to the bone to pay for, the one filled with photographs of our life. That night, I didn't sleep. My body shook with anger and disbelief. I wanted to confront her immediately, to scream, to demand answers. Instead, I waited. If she had the audacity to bring him into our home, then I would be there to see it with my own eyes. The next evening, I told Emily I had to stay late at work. I kissed her cheek before leaving, hiding the storm boiling inside me. But I didn't drive to the office. I circled back, parked down the street, and waited. Every minute dragged like an hour. Then a black car rolled into the driveway. A tall man stepped out, sharply dressed, carrying himself with a smug kind of confidence that made my blood burn. He rang the bell. Emily opened the door with a smile, the same smile that once belonged only to me, and touched his arm as if he were hers. I couldn't stay outside. I walked to the door, unlocked it, and stepped inside. Their faces froze. Emily's eyes widened, her lips parted, and the man looked like he'd seen a ghost. "Well," I said, my voice steady but cold, "looks like you started the party without me." "Mark, I can explain," she began. "Explain what?" I cut her off. "That you invited your lover into my house? That you thought I wouldn't notice? That you thought I was too blind, too stupid?" The man straightened, trying to hold on to some shred of dignity. "Listen, this is between you and her. I didn't know she was." "Don't," I snapped. "Don't you dare. You knew exactly what you were doing." The room seemed to hum with rage. Emily stepped between us, desperate to stop what was unfolding, but it was too late. Years of anger, neglect, and betrayal poured out. It wasn't just shouting. It wasn't just fists. It was truth tearing through years of lies. Emily broke down, sobbing, admitting she had felt ignored, unloved, and found comfort in someone else. She confessed it had been going on for months. Her words cut deeper than any wound. And though I had buried myself in work, focusing on providing instead of nurturing the connection we once had, nothing justified her bringing another man into the sanctuary of our home. The man, realizing there was no place for him, left quickly. That left only Emily and me, staring at each other across the wreckage of a marriage. "You didn't just betray me," I told her, my voice calm, almost hollow. "You destroyed everything we built. This house isn't a home anymore. It's just walls wrapped in lies." She begged me to forgive her, but I couldn't. Not that night. Maybe not ever. I packed a bag and walked out. The days that followed were some of the hardest of my life. I filed for divorce. Every memory we had built together felt like ash in my hands. But through the pain, something shifted. I realized betrayal didn't define me. I wasn't broken. I wasn't weak. That confrontation, as brutal as it was, became the moment I reclaimed myself. Friends I hadn't spoken to in years came back into my life, offering support. I focused on my health, rediscovered passions I'd buried, and slowly began writing a new chapter, one built on honesty and self-respect. If you're reading this, maybe you felt the same knife in the back. Maybe the person you trusted most betrayed you. Let me tell you something. Betrayal can break you, or it can build you. My wife thought she could hide her affair, that bringing her lover into our home would be her secret. Instead, it became the moment I saw everything clearly. And in the end, it set me free. Because sometimes the deepest wound is also the beginning of your greatest strength.